Alice and I run the Observatory B&B. We've been doing this now for the past 17 years, and it's been a joy, and we introduced about 16,000 people through our bed and breakfast. About 1,000 a year come through and introduce them to the night sky. Good morning. The observatory is located in Soyuz in British Columbia. We chose this site because of Mount Cobo, which is on the other side of the lake from us. It was site tested for the Queen Elizabeth telescope, and although the telescope was never built, this was the greatest spot in Canada to put an observatory. Our guests that arrive usually get scurried up into the dome to have a quick look at the sun, and that gets them started right away on the theme of the bed and breakfast.
Oh, wow. It's hard to grasp the scale of it, isn't it?
It's gigantic, absolutely gigantic.
Yeah, like the Earth would vanish in that one.
Well, it would take 5 Earths to cover it, maybe more. After they are shown their rooms, then they come up later that evening. Right now it's about 8 o'clock, and we give them a tour of the night sky with a 16-inch computer-controlled telescope. So we're going to turn some red lights on so that it's easier on our eyes, and I'm going to make this screen go red so it won't bother our eyes either. We'll go through globular clusters and galaxies and the planets that are up at that particular time. Tonight we'll be able to look at Neptune. So we're looking at a ball of about 200,000 stars. And this is 21,000 light years away. So you're looking back in time 21,000 years right now. You find the ball?
Yeah, it's very globby.
If it's cloudy though, we've got a big theater and we can do an IMAX presentation of the repairing of the Hubble Space Telescope. We also can do direct feeds to our home in Arizona, open up telescopes there, and we can actually hunt and pick galaxies and throw them up on the big screen in real time.
I was a junior high science teacher in Victoria. And the textbook we were currently using, the astronomy section, a large amount of the photos there were actually taken by Jack Newton, and then found out that Jack had retired from there and moved to Soyuz to set up a B&B, and so we had to come here eventually anyway.
When I personally look through a telescope for my own pleasure, I'm usually looking at very bright, exciting objects. I like taking photographs of the sun. I shoot the sun every day in high resolution. I'm more of a techie. I like to do astrophotography. I like to hunt for supernovas. Nothing gives me more excitement than to make a discovery and then have it sent out to the whole world. The B&B is sort of self-driven, so you get hundreds of questions from everything, have you ever seen a UFO, to how did the universe form, and how did the Big Bang work? And they're now saying that 20% of all stars in the Milky Way will host a roughly Earth-sized planet in their habitable zones. Wow. 20% of all of the stars in the Milky Way galaxy. And there could be as many as 500 billion stars in our galaxy. The fact that we're now in a galaxy that's going to collide with another galaxy in 3 billion years, and things like that are just so overwhelming for people. We know that a coronal mass ejection coming off the sun can knock out all our power grids and put us into the Stone Age, and it just missed us, only by a week. So there's things like that that people have no idea, and it's very, very exciting to impart this kind of knowledge to them.
Mount Cobo, just west of Soyuz, and this is the Mount Cobo Star Party. This is its 32nd year here. We are allowed once a year to come up here with our tents and our telescopes and spend a week to 10 days up here in beautiful skies. We come up here as members of the Mount Cobo Astronomical Society or the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada. It's one of the premier star parties of the year. The telescope I bring up here is a 12-inch reflector that was designed originally by Isaac Newton. So the mirror is 12 inches wide, and that's quite a common amateur-sized mirror for right now. It gathers a lot of light, and magnification is changed by the different eyepieces you put in. So you can start looking at something like a galaxy under very low power, and you can see how big it is. Then you can zoom right in and get the texture of it and things like that. I'm not very girly. I insisted my telescope be girly, so it has a black shroud with bright pink lace on it, kind of like a French maid outfit. One of the things I've noticed at these star parties and club meetings is that most of the members are men. Not really sure why, but women are gradually becoming more and more involved in the clubs, and you will certainly find several women on this mountain here. And I'm hoping for the younger generations that the girls that see me do this, being not afraid to use my brain, I'm hoping to inspire them to go into sciences or anything that they are passionate about.
Last night, we had a fire start up on the mountain a little after 6 p.m., and it was extremely windy. What that can result in is fire moving very rapidly. So the moment we were aware of it, we said, okay, it's time to get off the mountain. And so everybody started packing up really well and make sure that we were off the hill as fast as we could. It's always a risk in the Okanagan. When you go out into the bush, it's extremely dry in August. It's very ironic that, fire forces us down off the hill. And, it's the first time that's ever happened.
We are in Merritt, British Columbia, about 3 hours away from Vancouver. The Merritt Star Quest has been going on since about 2002, and on average we get somewhere between 80 and 100 astronomers that come to this event, and they all look very much forward to it every year.
I came to the Merritt Star Quest because of the dark skies and because it's such a terrific place. Brought my children this year. The biggest thing is they've never seen a dark sky. We're from the Lower Mainland. They rarely ever see even the Big Dipper clearly. So this is really an excellent place for them to see the dark sky, to see what it's really all about, see what gets me so excited about astronomy, and teach them just a little bit about what they can see and what they can learn and how the universe is put together. This book is a star chart. This shows all the stars in the sky.
Oh, does it?
And these 3 stars are Orion's belt. Every time I look at a dark sky, there's something I haven't seen before. I like being able to see sort of deep into space. For example, I'm looking at Orion. It's one of my favorite constellations. You can see the clouds. You can see all the dust belts and everything that's in there. And you just can't see that in a polluted sky. So I find it just thrilling. It kind of brings me back a little bit to my childhood. We used to drive through the countryside and I could see a lot of stars. Now I can again coming up here.
The future of the dark sky looks a little grim to me personally, because if we continue to abuse lighting, we continue to abuse our resources and energy and stuff like that to make ourselves feel safe and comfortable. For example, an infrared camera works so much better in pitch black darkness than any street light. Well, if we start leaning towards that kind of thing, and we can lessen the light pollution, and it'd be a sad thing to lose, but it looks like it's headed in that direction.
We need to recognize the importance of the natural order of the day-night cycle. We have a situation where light turns on and turns off certain compounds in the body. The main regulator is a molecule called melatonin, and it builds up slowly over the course of a dark night. And what it does is it regulates what processes happen in our body. For example, at sleep, we do a lot of biological healing at the molecular level. And what we need then in the morning is a good dose of bright blue light to start the day off right. But if we add that blue light in the middle of the night, we don't get our pulse of melatonin, and a lot of our healing cycle doesn't happen. And this has consequences that cascade through the whole body. Basically, the whole immune system can be thrown off kilter, so it's really important to think about this.
Are there any goals for the future for dark sky preserves in Canada? I would say that we're going to try to do more of it and get more national parks and more provincial parks to comply with the lighting protocols. We also have light pollution abatement programs in cities, so that we have not just dark sky preserves, we have urban star parks now as a new area that will have minimal impact of lighting, but not necessarily an astronomy program.
This is why we need sites like the Merritt Star Quest at Loon Lake, why we need sites like the Mount Cobo Star Party, where people can experience the grandeur, the exhilaration of a great night sky and the wonders and the beauties that lead us on to excite our imaginations and our scientific curiosity, to excite our emotions and our intellect, to learn more about this place we call home. If we can't see it, we don't know where we are.